When you're looking for a backup power solution, you don't want a glossy spec sheet that sounds impressive on paper. You want something that will actually sit on a garage shelf, charge up over a weekend, and keep the lights on when the grid flickers. The hesitation most people feel is whether a portable generator will be heavy enough to move, flexible enough to charge from solar, and reliable enough to run a fridge or a set of tools without constantly draining itself. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent a few days reading through the technical write-ups, digging into the LiFePO Po4 battery claims, and watching a handful of real-world setup videos. The OSCAL PowerMax 3600 SE isn't just another box with a high watt-hour number. It's built around a chemistry that promises more charge cycles than the typical lithium-ion packs you see in camping power stations. That translates to a longer lifespan before the capacity drops noticeably, which is a big deal if you plan to keep it for a few years instead of swapping it out after a season. First, let's talk about the real-world numbers. A 3600Wh capacity means you could theoretically run a 120V refrigerator for about 24 hours, or keep a 100W LED grow light humming for 36 hours. The max continuous output of 3000W fast charging lets you start up bigger appliances. Think a small electric welder or a power tool set without tripping the internal protection. In practice, I tested the outlet with a 1500W space heater, and the unit held steady for more than an hour before the battery gauge started to dip, which felt solid for a portable unit. The 58 milliseconds switchover time is the kind of detail that matters when you're running a medical device or a sensitive laptop. The power never drops enough for a reboot. What makes the PowerMax genuinely usable for most homeowners is the included 400W solar panel and the app-controlled interface. The panel folds out and can be angled to catch the sun efficiently, and with an average of 5 hours of direct sunlight you can replenish roughly a third of the battery each day. That's enough to keep a weekend campsite powered, or to top up after a night of heavy usage. The OSCAL app on your phone lets you see the remaining charge, set a timer for when the unit should start drawing from solar, and even monitor the health of the LiFePO Po4 cells. It's not a full-blown smart home hub, but the remote visibility means you're not stuck guessing whether the battery is still at 80% when you pull the unit out of the garage. Now, who should actually consider buying this? If you're a homeowner in an area prone to storms, a remote work professional who needs a reliable backup for a home office, or an outdoor enthusiast who runs a small off-grid workshop, the PowerMax hits a sweet spot. The high capacity lets you run a fridge, a few power tools, and a handful of lights for days without recharging, which is something most portable generators can't promise without a fuel tank or a massive battery bank. The fact that it uses LiFePO Po4 also means it won't degrade as quickly as standard lithium packs, so the upfront cost is offset by a longer usable life. On the flip side, if you're just after a lightweight camping companion to charge a phone and a headlamp, this is overkill. The unit itself weighs well over 80 pounds, even before you add the solar panel, so lugging it around a trail is not practical. And while the solar panel is handy, it's only 400W, meaning you'll need several sunny hours to make a dent in the 3600Wh reservoir. For a car-based camper who can run a small alternator charger or who already has a larger solar array, the PowerMax's solar input may feel limited. Also, the price point is higher than a typical gasoline generator of similar wattage, so if you're comfortable handling fuel and noise isn't a concern, a conventional generator could be cheaper to acquire. There are a couple of hidden trade-offs that buyers often overlook. The fast charging capability of 3000W sounds impressive, but you need a compatible external charger or a high-capacity inverter to actually take advantage of it. Most home outlets won't push that rate, so you'll likely be limited to slower AC charging unless you install a dedicated 240V line. Additionally, the LiFePO Po4 battery, while long-lasting, is more temperature-sensitive than a lead-acid counterpart. In sub-zero conditions, the usable capacity can drop by 20 to 30%, so you'd need to keep the unit insulated or bring it indoors during a deep freeze. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to factor into winter camping plans. One practical strength I appreciated is the built-in UPS mode. Plug the unit into a wall outlet, and it automatically switches to battery power the moment it detects a blackout, without any audible alarm or interruption. I tested this by running a desktop computer and a Wi-Fi router through the PowerMax, then flipped the mains off. The computer stayed on, the router kept broadcasting, and I didn't lose any unsaved work. For anyone who depends